Hey guys, it's Sandeep from Driverless and welcome back to yet another video. Here we have the iPhone SE and we're going to be taking a look at its camera review in detail. Now before we get started, please do make sure to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications for more videos like this. Now let's get this video started. Essentially speaking, the iPhone SE has the exact same camera hardware as the iPhone 8. It uses the same 12 megapixel sensor with f1.8 aperture and has OIS as well. A recent post online proved this fact, considering swapping out cameras from an iPhone 8 still work perfectly well. But what the SE has that the 8 doesn't is the A13 Bionic chipset, which itself is a big deal because brands such as Google and even Apple with the 11 series have shown that the image processing plays an important, if not a bigger role in terms of image quality and capabilities with the sensor. Hence why it would be interesting to see if the SE indeed can give a flagship camera experience at a fraction of the cost of the 11 series. In terms of dynamic range, SE can capture incredible amount of information from the shadows and highlights. It's up there with the Pixel and iPhone devices, and in this price segment, only the Pixel 3a series could match the dynamic range, I feel. It's also focused correctly always and is quick to refocus when you need it to. The white balance is on point and it does have a tendency to capture warm tones than usual in some rare circumstances. It captures a good amount of detail, especially for a 12 megapixel unit, and doesn't seem to exhibit signs of over sharpening. It also doesn't seem to drown out the detail with excessive noise reduction and chooses to leave the noise in, which can be seen a bit in the shadows. But in terms of pure sharpness and detail, it does fall behind some of the Pixelbin 64 megapixel and 48 megapixel camera phones that we have seen, especially in the mid-range segment. The colors are quite close to reality, but the blues at times are deeper than real, but overall mostly a natural color palette. Despite having OIS, there seems to be instances where the shakes can still happen if you aren't careful enough. Apart from needing to fine-tune the OIS algorithm, the reason for this could be attributed to the lightweight design. Heavier smartphones are less prone to shakes and are more stable, and I didn't find the 11 Pro Max had much of an issue with shakes, but I found the 10 to be more susceptible to shakes than the 11 Pro Max, and even this is more than the 10 itself. In terms of low-light photography, this is where the SE shows its age, or the fact that it is less than a flagship model. There's no night mode. I'm not sure why Apple has chosen not to provide a night mode for this, considering it has a good sensor and a great chip to be able to handle it, but the only reason I can think of is to clearly distinguish this product from the rest of the 11 lineup, as it may eat into a lot more sales if this was also an added feature, and how nighttime or low light photography has become more widespread and in demand over the past couple of years. Images in dim light or minimal indoor lighting are decent but starting to show noise, and images in very low light are very prone to shakes due to the fact that the camera has to go for a very long exposure, which even the OIS can't handle in terms of negating the shakes. On very low light images, the noise is also extremely high, and most of the time the images are almost unusable. There is a workaround, however, in the form of third-party apps that can do night mode photography like Neural Cam. Using that will yield much better results than the stock camera itself. Portrait mode has not been a strong suit of iPhones. They were good when they introduced it with the 7 Plus, but since then there are many better implementations of portrait mode, out of which the Pixel has the best ever. But I can't help but say that the SE seems to take better portraits than even the 11 Pro or 11 series smartphones. The edge detection seems to be much better, and even the depth of field and subject separation is so much better. Of course, the telephoto lens will help improve things to a certain extent, but then again, with what is available, it seems to do well. There are portions where it does get wrong as well, especially around the hair when it's moving or has separate strands, but overall much better results than the 11 series. Dynamic range is also excellent in such scenarios, unlike some other phones which can't do HDR along with portrait mode. But one of the issues is that, like the iPhone XR or Gcam ports, you can only take portraits of humans. Halide is a third-party application that allows you to take portraits of pets or objects, and will definitely come in handy if you do take portrait shots of the aforementioned subjects or objects. There are also different lighting effects that you can apply to enhance the scene, and some work well to improve the skin tone, such as studio and contour lighting, but others rarely work well. The phone can also take great panoramas with high level of detail, and the stitching is damn near perfect in most situations unless you pan too fast. So in a way, the lack of an ultra-wide angle camera can be overcome in some situations, especially for landscapes where you do need to capture a more dramatic field of view. It doesn't replace an ultra-wide but can provide a similar experience. The front-facing camera is a 7 megapixel f2.2 unit, which is lower resolution compared to a 12 megapixel units on the 11 series. Apple was using the same 7 megapixel unit up until the XS. The selfie camera is decent but not great, and the dynamic range is good, and while it does capture good detail, it's not as sharp as modern age selfie cameras and seems to have an inherent softness to it. You get the same portrait lighting effects that you get at the rear camera here as well. Like other iPhones, this iPhone SE is also excellent at video recording, and you can shoot at a maximum resolution of 4K at 60 FPS. You also get 4K 24, 4K 30, 1080p 30 and 1080p 60 FPS modes with stabilization, and the videos have excellent dynamic range and stabilization, and is definitely the leader in this segment and can even fight with phones much above this price segment. The front-facing camera video is also pretty good in terms of having stable content, but the resolution is capped at 1080p 30 FPS considering that it has a 7 megapixel camera, and needing 4K video requires at least 8 megapixels of resolution. Slow motion is also supported at 1080p in both 120 FPS and 240 frame rates. Overall, the iPhone SE is one hell of a camera phone, especially at the price point, and while I would still pick the Pixel 3a series if I wanted better focus on photos, I would go for the SE if I want focus both on video and photos. Whatever flaws that this has, especially in terms of low light mode and the portrait mode with not being able to click portraits of non-human objects or subjects, those can be mitigated using third-party applications, and doing so will give you one hell of a camera experience overall. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one.